Hello, lovely soul, and welcome to this behind the scenes video. It's part of my behind the scenes series where I take you behind the scenes of an angel message and card interpretation I have done that week, and I take you into my head. I let you see why I have said something or focused on something on the card in particular. This week's card was taken from the Everyday Witch Oracle by Deborah Black. And the card that we were looking at is the card that's on the front cover of that deck. It's this one. Go with the flow. There's a lot of symbolism in this card, and the theme of this behind the scenes video is that sometimes a facial expression can just give so much more information than all the other symbols on a card. Like I said, there are a lot of symbols on this card. We have a willow tree. We have reeds, we have a boat, we have an oar, we have a witch, we have a cat. We have trees in the background, we have the sky, and there's colours as well, mostly greens and blues. And that brings so much information whenever you're interpreting a card. Whenever I teach students to interpret cards, I always encourage them to see what catches their eye first. Is it a colour, a symbol, a positioning, and use those to interpret the card. Quite often, angel and oracle cards will have a figure in the card, whether it's an angel or whether it's a person, or in this case, a witch. And if you look at their facial expression, it can basically sum up what you can gather by looking at all the other different symbols. Quite often, because we're so used to seeing a figure on an angel and oracle card, we tend to ignore its presence, or if the figure stands out, we might think, oh, maybe it's to do with feminine energy or masculine energy, depending on the gender of the figure. But a figure can give so much information. If you look at this witch and look at her face, what can you read by looking at her face? Her face and her facial expression, her eyes are closed, her cheeks are rosy, and she's got this almost serene, peaceful, happy, contented expression about her face. If you think about the theme of the card, go with the flow. Whenever you're going with the flow of life, how do you feel? You feel serene, you feel happy, you feel contented, you feel relaxed, you feel peaceful. You have trust, you can close your eyes and keep moving forward because you have trust that you're being guided. So a facial expression on a card, it is one symbol, but it can give so much information because this witch's face could have looked so differently on a different card. She could have been very concentrated, or she could have been angry, or whatever. And by her presence on the card and reading her facial expression, you can get so much information. So whenever it comes to figures on the cards, don't just assume they're there to make the card relatable because you are a person yourself and it's relatable to see another person on the card. Don't assume that the person on the card is purely to do with the gender of energy, the feminine or the masculine energy. Sometimes you need to look a little bit closer. Sometimes you need to look at the person's facial expression, or maybe exactly what they're doing in the card, because the person may be the center of attention in that card. And by being the center of attention, they can be bringing you so much information that you could miss by ignoring them, by looking for more discrete symbols to catch your eye and hoping you can get a deeper meaning. You can get a deep meaning by simply looking at someone's expression.